Hi guys, I'm Shane Knowlton. I'm joined here with Connor Polifrone. He's going to be my guinea pig today. I'm going to be asking him a few questions about the stock market, kind of how it works, a little bit about his life and how he got into it. So, what's going on, Connor?
Well, thank you for having me, as always. So, as many of you guys probably know, full-time professional trader, and there's a lot of newer traders that always have questions about the stock market. So this will be kind of one of the first videos that we're going to do to kind of give you an insight more about me, personal life, how I got into trading, maybe a few pointers, a few tips for some of you newer traders, a little bit of a different perspective than most of my videos. So hopefully this video can kind of give you guys some insight onto what it's like to be a full-time trader, going from very beginner, learning it all myself, into where I am today. So shoot your questions, anything you got.
So, I already know you, but, a lot of people out there don't really know where you came from. So, tell them a little bit about, where we, grew up and how it was for you.
All right. So I grew up in a small town. It's Northville, Michigan. So it's a town of about 40,000 people. So small enough town to the point where everybody knows you. You know your neighbor kind of thing. We all went to the same high school, one high school in the city. So pretty small town. Pretty white collar, everybody's working. Most people, in the area, a lot of them work for Ford, General Motors, a lot of the big name Ford Motor or big automotive companies here in Michigan, as we are the automotive state. So anyways, I did the whole thing, right? I went to school, ended up going to college a little bit. And to be quite honest with you guys, I never fully graduated high school. I ended up taking off, getting my GED. Ended up going into just working full time. For a moment there, I wanted to learn a trade. I liked painting cars. I liked working on cars, and I did that for a while. Then eventually I figured out that, you don't want to bust your ass and smash your knuckles and get bloody hands all day long. So then I ended up thinking, maybe it's a good idea to go back to college. And then I started thinking, well, I like to work with people. I'm a friendly person, so maybe working somewhere in the healthcare business would be good. So I decided maybe to work as a nurse, become a nurse. And then I, fumbled on the idea of becoming a physical therapist for a while. So then I was going to school, and then eventually I looked at this picture. I actually was on my phone one day, and I seen a picture of a guy's arm cut open, and I could see all of his nerve endings. And I said, nope, not for me. So then I quickly decided the healthcare business wasn't for me, right? And I was like, not going to happen. So then I started fumbling back again and go, I've always liked business. When I was younger, I actually opened up my first business, which was painting cars for the most part. I did a little bit of side work painting cars, was on Craigslist, made a little bit of money doing that.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then so then I ended up going back to college for business. I was doing well, and throughout that period, I was learning the stock market. So at a younger age, I was always good at investing. My dad taught me to invest at 18, and that's where I really started investing. And then when I went back to school for business, and then I started diving more into the stock market, and that's where I started trading and learning it. And then that brings me up until this point where I'm 25, and now I do it as a full-time job and run a business doing it as well. So for me, it kind of took off very fast. Once I found out trading was it for me, there was nothing else in my sight. It was tunnel vision solely and only on trading at that point. And that's where I kind of dove into learning that I wanted to be a day trader full time, and that was it. That was
so. What was kind of like that turning point for you, where you were like, okay, I'm going to work. I don't like what I'm doing. I'm just gonna be done with this. I'm gonna start trading. When was that point for you? Like, what did you have to do to get there?
So I guess a lot of it came from always fumbling around, right? I was always wondering what's the next step. I was always searching, right? I went from painting cars to working on cars to want to do, become a nurse. And I was like, I could do business manager, become an investment banker. It was kind of my goal at that point. And then, after doing all these things, and then I worked as an assistant manager, got a promotion as an assistant manager at a retail store. And then after doing all these things, you eventually realize that the best job is not working for someone. And eventually I dove into figuring out how could I run my own business? How can I make money for myself? And then that's where it came into the idea that the stock market is the place you can do that. And I had already been investing in various mutual funds and had various retirement accounts open since I was 18. And going back to my dad teaching me the rule of 72. So for those of you watching, in terms of investing, long-term retirements and things like that, I'd advise you guys to learn the rule of 72 and about compounding interest. That's what really sparked my interest in investing as a whole. And then I guess that kind of just led into learning more about the stock market. And then I realized that becoming an efficient trader was a way or a means of making income, right? Investing is more of a long-term growth thing that won't really suit you in terms of income now. And then I realized you can also be a trader and you can actually make consistent or steady income by trading. And then at that point, that was the turning point. I'm like, this is it. I can do it. I'd seen other people do it, right? We've all been on YouTube. You guys will be on YouTube watching this. So, you gander around YouTube for a while and you see other people trading. Like, wow, if they can do it, I can do it too. Granted, it's not that easy, but, once you see somebody else do it, you realize it is possible with the right drive and motivation to do it, why not? So that's where that was a turning point. Once I seen other people doing it, I liked investing, already knew it. I was like, you know what, hit the ground running, right? At that point,
Yeah. So you talk about YouTube, like that's actually something I wanted to talk to you about. I've seen that you've been doing a lot of different videos every single day, and just your consistency is, not like a lot of other people. Like they're not, releasing this type of content. What really got you into that point where you were like, I want to do this for the people. I want to release these videos on a consistent basis. What was it for you?
So initially, when I first kind of jumped into trading, I didn't know anything. So you have to put yourself in a position to first learn, right? So at that point, I didn't use Facebook. Like back in the day, I stopped using social media and Facebook. And then when I got into trading, I was like, well, I have to find a community that people are talking about this stuff, talking about trading. At least that way I could maybe pick up on the lingo. I could learn a few things here and there. So what ended up happening is I joined some Facebook groups, and I joined some different chat rooms and different communities to at least pick up on the lingo of trading, and hopefully I could expedite my learning curve and learning process. So after I did that, and I will, pride myself on a quick learner. When I'm in something and I want to do something, that's it. I study super hard and I get it done. And so I picked up on everything super fast. And for many, they say I have a gift for teaching, which I didn't know I do, but apparently I do. So then that kind of led into I could give people good pointers and good tips and make it very clear and concise to the point where they could understand it in a helpful manner, not very complicated. Because that's another problem with the trading world. People look at graphs and they hear terminologies. Like real quick, Fibonacci retracement, 61.8% retracement levels, high lows, 52-week highs, low of day, high of day, breakout, pennant pattern. All those terms that I just spit at you right now, in my head, they all make sense. But to someone who's new, they'd be like, what in the hell is this dude talking about? And that's another issue with the trading world is a lot of times it's confusing, and I found a way to break it down in a simple manner that people could understand. And once I knew people could pick up on it very well for me, they then asked me, a lot of these groups in different various areas, a lot of the traders would ask me, why don't you have a YouTube channel? You can do this and you can teach people. Why don't you have a YouTube channel? I was like, well, I'm not ready, right? To me, it was like, there's still some things that I need to learn before I'd feel comfortable giving my opinion and helping teach others. So then eventually, once I built up that confidence, I said to myself, let's do this, right? Let's make a YouTube channel. I can get out some free content for everyone, and then I can show them what I know. And then at that point, that's where I made my YouTube channel, and it grew pretty fast. And that's kind of it, right? The people told me you have a gift for teaching. You can make it very understandable in an easy way. So I said, you know what? They've asked me to make a YouTube channel. I'll do just that. And then that's what made me make the YouTube channel. It wasn't actually my idea. It was actually like people like you wanted to know more about it that asked me. And so I went ahead and made the YouTube channel and then hit the ground running from there. And then, I just every day I eventually got into a routine. Right, at first it was kind of challenging. You're speaking to the camera, kind of weird, making videos, and then live streaming became huge. It already was huge. And live streaming was just another way to reach more people and get more of like a personal one-to-one or more of a personal relationship with people because they're seeing it live. It's not pre-recorded. And then that was another thing. I was able to get on the camera live, no problem, and talk to people. Super calm, not worried, and they really like that. And then I just got into a routine of doing it every single day. And now it's second nature. I wake up in the morning, all right, I got a live stream to do. People are waiting. They want to see the stocks. They want to know what I have to talk about. And we're going to do that for them. We're going to provide them, in my opinion, the best information I can give to them every morning on the watch list,
So with you, having your own trading room, with you having a YouTube and you being a day trader, how do you juggle that around? Like, how does that work for you? Are you, sometimes distracted by it, or do you just does it motivate you to keep going, or what's up?
So that's another thing. I have a super busy schedule. What I can say to people is that it kind of goes back to the idea that you have your niche, right? You have what you're good at, right? And then it all kind of funnels into one, right? I'm a day trader. Yeah, I'm a day trader, but my YouTube channel is specifically for day trading for the most part. In the future, we're actually going to make an advancement into other areas, but in terms of now, I'm a day trader, investor. So my YouTube channel ties directly into what I do every day, my passion, my love, which is trading. So that in itself, the YouTube and the day trading, it's all one. And then my business is day trading and investing. So it all goes hand in hand. So it is a bigger workload, but it's nothing that you don't know, right? So there's some learning curves around, you have a website, managing other people, you have a few other people you work with. So there's some moving parts in there that, of course, you have to learn as time goes on. There's always going to be these hurdles. But I could say that if you're doing something similar to me, you can't be all over the place, right? That's why we always focus on our specific niche, and then that is what allows us to expand in that area. So in terms of having YouTube and day trading and then running the business, it all ties into one way or the other. So it does kind of make it, I guess you could say, manageable in that aspect.
Cool. So I want to get a little bit into some of the questions that a lot of traders might be wanting to know about, how a typical, day trader, what's the profit like? How does the profit work for you? And, do you see consistent gains to where, you could, quit your job and, do whatever you want every single day? You know what I mean? Like, what is that like?
So for one, day trading is awesome, right? So really here are the benefits, right? When you can reach the level, right? Everybody knows the statistic that, whether you want to call it 85%, 90%, there is a statistic out there and it probably fluctuates, but general rule of thumb is 90% of day traders or people that try to become day traders, they fail. And then they quit and they give up. And that's why the statistic is so high. It's because they quit. And that's what makes that statistic high. They don't continuously try and try and try. They don't accept that there is no giving up. When you accept there's no failure in it, you'll eventually succeed with most likely anything, right? So that's why the statistic's high, is most people end up quitting. And so in terms of the profits, right, I'm actually just coming off we're still in the month of September for 2018, and this is going to be my best month I've ever had trading, where we're just locking in over $60,000 in profit. So, fantastic, right? Awesome. I used to dream of the day, right? I'd seen other people do it, and I would dream of the day. I'm like, I can do this, and I can't wait till I get to that level. And I'm at that level now. And you'd think there'd be like, this big party, this big hoorah, following you, or this big light bulb come on, but it's not. Because, as a trader, right, this is your job. And with anything, if you were, working retail, if you were an engineer, right, if you're good at your job, the money should then follow, right? So fantastic to have this many profits, and I'm not downplaying it that it's not, but as long as you're doing your job the way you're supposed to be doing it, or you're trading the way you're supposed to be trading, the money does come. And so I always had this idea that when I got to this level, right, the professional level, where you can just master the trades and you can hit them back to back, that there'd be this big like, hoorah, but at the end of the day, you're excited, but you know that it's just because you're doing your job the way you're supposed to be doing it. And then I will touch on that it is hard to get to a level that I'm at, right? It doesn't come easy, and it doesn't come without a lot of hard work, doesn't come without a ton of failure, doesn't come without losing some money. Definitely have lost money. And for newer traders and newer beginners, the best advice I could honestly give to you is that you're going to see someone like me, right? Trading, making money. You can't let what I'm doing or what the next person, next to me making money, or anybody that's making money in the industry, you can't let, their gains or the way that they're doing something affect your perspective of this business, where you think that you should be able to come in and just start making money. We make it look easy, and eventually it does become easier. But you can't let that affect you, because what I see happen a lot of times is, we'll take person A, right? Person A, for example, a new beginner comes in and starts trading. He sees people making money. He's like, oh, well, I can do it. Well, you can do it, but it's going to take you some time to get there. And they try and come in and they try and make the money, which some people have the first lucky start where they'll start making money, without really knowing what they're doing. So you could fumble on some profits and fumble on some gains without realizing the real ropes of the business. But then if they start losing, or if they just initially were losing in the first place, they get frustrated and they feel that they can't do it. And they see this big frustration, and then they could think it's a scam, or it doesn't work, or there's no way people make money doing it because they're not seeing the success. And that's the biggest problem why people quit, is because they give up too quick, but they have this idea coming into the business that they're supposed to make money. No, you're not supposed. Well, you hopefully are, but it takes a lot of practice, and they come in thinking that it's just going to happen in the blink of an eye. When in reality, we've been doing it for years, day in and day out, right? So if you put it into perspective of someone who goes to college for a 4-year degree, think about it. That person's working 4 years straight without making any money before they even start to hopefully make money when they get out and get a job. And they're not even guaranteed a job that necessarily they went to school for in the first place unless someone's out there willing to hire them. Right. And then even at that point, they may have had this idea of $80,000 a year in their mind, and they may not be making that much money when they come out. And then how much money do they spend going to college in the first place? And this isn't to deter anyone from going to college or getting an education, but if you take the idea of what most people do in the world, they go to school 4 years paying, who knows, we'll just ballpark it, upwards of 10 to maybe 20,000 if you're going to a major big league school, right? 10 to 20 grand a year. So think about it, right? If you come into trading and you're like, I'm not making money, I'm losing money. Well, how much money have you lost? Some people go to school. And they lose $80,000, $120,000 first, theoretically. Yeah. Granted, it's going towards education, so they are receiving something back in that. What are they receiving for their $120,000 in college debt or payments? What are they receiving back? Really, what are they? I mean, sure, they're probably out drinking booze and maybe having some women and some fun times. Yeah. That comes with it. But they're really just receiving learning and knowledge. Yeah. So every time you're trading, you're learning and you're receiving knowledge back. So you have to put it into the perspective that even if you are losing money, it is, in a sense, going towards your education. Yeah. And that's why people give up, because they're like, I'm just throwing money away. Well, you're also throwing money away at school if you don't get a job when you come out.
Definitely.
So if you think about it like that, it's, you just got to put it into perspective, right? Yeah. And you always got to have, what are you in it for and what are you expecting, right? And so I would always say, don't make your expectations super high coming in the market. Actually put them kind of low and anticipate realistically that you're not going to make any money when you first come in. And the best advice I could give to people is to use a paper trading or like a fake simulated account where you can practice trading first while you're studying. Maybe get a mentor, whether that could be someone like me, whether it's someone like you eventually, right? Get a mentor, join a chat room, join up a service, or some free place where you can pick up on the lingo like I did just to start, and that can expedite the learning service in paper trade. A lot of people, I know, paper trading can be boring because it's not real and you want to do the real thing and you're itching for the real thing. But if you take the time to first do the paper trading and the fake simulation will give you the idea of how stocks move, but you're still not going to learn the real experience of what it's like to actually execute a real trade, because when you're on the fake trading or a simulated trading, the execution is far different than when it's real and you're actually going through a real market maker and there's a real execution of your order, because you're going to be dealing with things like spreads, and then you have the emotional side of things where it comes in, I'm making money, I'm losing money. But when it's fake, you don't feel as much emotion because it's not real. So it's not really affecting your emotions that it normally would. So definitely paper trade for a while and learn as much as you can before putting real money on the line, I would say.
I agree. I definitely agree. And I would also, tell people to be a little bit more realistic when they're paper trading, because when they actually do go to trade, it's not going to be the same amount of, shares that they're doing when they're actually trading. So they should, go by, what
you would realistically do in a real situation. Because a lot of those paper trade accounts, now they're still on it. The paper trade accounts will come with like $100,000 buying power, more than most people would have when they start trading. So, they'll jump in and go, I'll just pop in 2,000 shares, and then they'll see that they make, like $4,000 on a trade or $2,000 on a trade. But that's not realistic, because you're not going to really come in. You're not going to come in like that,
for sure. So my last question for you, Connor, what is the biggest, mistakes you made, and, what did you do, and how did you manage your, mistakes that you made, and how does that go for you?
So if we were to talk about the biggest mistakes or the mistakes I made, we could probably be here all day long. So,
just So for
maybe
new
for
beginner,
giggle purposes,
beginner people
just
starting off.
So here's going to be some of the biggest mistakes. For newer beginners, if you guys are under the pattern day trading rule, the number one rule I had when I was at a beginner level after making the mistake is if you're under the pattern day trade rule, right? For some of you, you may not know what it is. Look up what the pattern day trade rule is. If you know what it is, great. This will pertain exactly to you. If you have reached your day trading limit and you have like no more trades to make, basically this is the way it'll look. If you've used up all your day trades, you could essentially buy into a stock, but then you can't sell it because that would count as your last day trade or full round trip. So if you've used all your trades, do not take another trade, because if you do, you cannot do anything about it if it goes against you, and you're basically just sitting there with your head ready to get chopped off.
So you're basically sitting in a...
Yeah, that happened to me. I was like, I ran out of day trades when I was beginning. I'm like, oh man, but I still want to trade. So rather than doing what I was good at, which was day trading, then you're going to, I'm just going to hold this overnight and look for it to go up overnight. Well, what happens if you're holding overnight and then it just drops on you? You can't do anything about it, right? You can't get out. Even if you could trade after hours or pre-market, you still can't get out because you're gonna get restricted for the next 90 days if you break the law, theoretically. So that's the number one rule that I made mistakes on. Was I'd run on my day trades, and then I would turn to the idea of going, I'll just do an overnight swing thing, right? And then if it doesn't work out, you get screwed. Don't do that. I've seen many people do it. I've done it horrible route. Secondly, revenge trading. Revenge trading kind of leads into maybe some over trading. We've all done it. Yeah. If you say you haven't done it, you're the biggest lie I've ever seen. Okay, we've all done it, and I've lost tons of money doing it. Yeah. Okay, I've went from being up a couple thousand to being down a couple thousand. And it's just like, wow, you are
trading the same stock.
Trading the same stock. Like, you are some kind of stupid at that point.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
I look at myself and go, Connor, you are some kind of stupid for doing that, right? So we've all been there, especially as retail traders and investors. We'll probably do it again at some point. Not wanting to, but at some point we'll probably let those emotions maybe beat the best of us here and there, and we'll get it. We'll kind of enter that revenge trading realm a little bit. Yeah. But usually we're a little bit better at managing it now and realizing, let's cut it off quicker, right? So
cut it off.
Cut it off, man. It's just it's like a bad relationship, a bad girlfriend. You just cut her off.
Yeah,
just get her
for
out.
Sure. I feel it.
So what it comes down to, that is revenge trading. What revenge trading looks like is like, you take a trade, you lose. You take another trade, you lose. You take another trade, you lose. Maybe you win one here and there, but you're not really seeing much consistency, and you're losing money. And now you're getting aggravated that you're not winning money. So then you go, I can just win it back. So then you might increase your share size, take a bigger position, and then you lose more money. And that's what it looks like. You're getting pissed off, and then you're trading more, and then you're resulting in bigger losses. And I've done that. And I've gotten up to the point where I've lost like $10,000 in a day because of it. Just stupid mistakes.
It happened like 2 days ago.
No, not 2 days ago. That one was $5,000.
No, it was, you went down $10,000 and then you made back 15.
That wasn't revenge trading. So yeah, if we have to talk about that, we might as well now on that. So I do know what you're talking about. That was the TLRY. So for those of you watching,
it had a big spread.
So TLRY is a stock that was in a bubble. And I knew it was a bubble. I projected it was a bubble, and now it's crashing as projected. So the previous day before, when it was crashing, I took some options trades on it, and I ended up making $14,000. So then they come in the next day, I'm thinking, well, I might be able to do that again. And I knew the risks involved. So I caught it, and basically, to put it this way, the options weren't in my favor. There wasn't enough volume on it. If it really would have went, I would have banked. I mean, it would have happened. I was up $2,000 on them at one point, and then they flipped on me. I thought I caught the right moment of its crash, and I didn't, and I was wrong, and it squeezed up on me, so I ended up cutting losses at like $9,600.
Yeah.
And people may go, well, why didn't you cut them at $5,000? Well, if you've never traded options before, you know that can flip on you negatively very quick. So what ended up happening is it ended up squeezing me up. The stock went up, and I was hoping it went down, and then so I had to get out my options down $9,600. So it sucked. But the previous day I made $32,000. So when you look at you're like, it's okay, it's still okay, kind of. So what ends up happening, 30 minutes later, the stock drops off the face of the earth. So what happened is I was in at the wrong time, really what happened. I was in at the wrong time. If I picked the right time, we would have been looking at a big win. So then after that, I'm like down $10,000. I'm like, well, that was one position. It was options. I wasn't even really trading stocks. So I'm like, well, that sucks, right? So we sat back, and I jumped right back into the market and traded the things that I know how to trade very effectively, right? Again, as I said, I wasn't the best options trader, but I have a good knowledge. If I was right, I would have won, but I wasn't, and it happens. And then we hopped right back in, ended up trading a few penny stocks, ended up trading a few large cap stocks, and then ended up going up, trading from down $10,000 to up $7,000 on the day. So
it happens.
It happens, right? We're gonna have the good days, and we'll have the bad days. So, so we did go from down $10,000 to up positive. So theoretically, I traded up $17,000 that day.
Yeah.
If I never would have took that first trade, $17,000 day. So.
Well, there you are, folks. That is Connor Polifrone. He is owner of Boiler Room Trading. You guys can tune into his channel. Just subscribe, like, share it. Is there anything else you want to say, Connor?
It's every day, Monday through Friday. We start about 8:30 in the morning on my YouTube channel. This channel right here, you can tune into our pre-market watch list, where I'll provide some stocks gapping up and down, little watch list, and kind of walk you guys through some things if you're ever interested when it comes to trading.
Cool. Well, thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you next time.